All history books hide a brutal truth from you. In the face of absolute, overwhelming force, human courage, so long celebrated, becomes not only worthless, but almost laughably futile. Tonight, we tear apart history's sentimental veneer and witness a slaughter, not on the same plane of existence. It was the night of the 27th of September, 1066. Duke William of Normandy stood aboard his flagship. Behind him 700 ships carrying 7,000 fully armored knights and infantry, and 2,000 war horses. This was the most terrifying maritime force humanity could assemble in the 11th century, blessed by the Pope and poised to seize the English crown. But unknown to them, lurking ahead in the pitch-black waters, was a steel reaper, out of their time. This was not a battle. It was a one-sided annihilation dictated by the laws of physics. Picture the scene. The Normandy fleet stretched for miles, lanterns swaying atop, masts, oars, beating rhythmically against the waves. A ship with no sails, no oars, yet slicing through the water 6 times faster than any Viking longship. A 9,000-ton modern destroyer. William's knights, weighed down in heavy chainmail and gripping long spears, searched the darkness for the enemy. But what faced them was an abyssal machine, carrying 90 missile launchers, radar capable of tracking hundreds of targets simultaneously. Against this destroyer, the combined navies of the entire world in 1066 would barely equal half its firepower. Sacred Crusade met the unfeeling pinnacle of modern industry when the destroyer's main guns began rotating, firing 20 rounds per minute. The Normandy Knights didn't even glimpse the enemy. They were instantly shredded into a storm of splintered wood and blood. This was not valiant death. They couldn't even comprehend which deity they had angered. Yet, if you think this was a simple shooting gallery, you underestimate the strange survival instincts that emerge under extreme fear. This so-called dimensional reduction strike isn't a mere clash of armies. It's when your fate is sealed by lines of glowing code before you even see the enemy. Duke William prayed on the bow, imagining the wind carrying his fleet to victory, unaware that his proud medieval civilization was now nothing more than a grid of live targets on a radar screen. The Normandy fleet wasn't some flimsy fishing boats. It represented the pinnacle of 11th century shipbuilding. 25-meter long Viking style longships carrying armored knights, archers, and war horses. They bore the classical honor of warfare, ready to write epic history. Yet before an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, this pride of the blade and wood era was obliterated entirely. Consider the staggering odds. The 60-mile channel from France to England required the fleet an entire night and favorable winds. The steel behemoth needed no wind, blazing at 30+ knots, 6 times faster than the fleet, crossing the channel in under 2 hours. Even more cruel, the destroyer's radar had already locked onto hundreds of tiny, moving targets across the Black Sea, computing perfect intercept trajectories. Classical warfare demanded face-to-face combat, seeing the enemy as swords clashed. Now, the Normans couldn't even locate the enemy. From 13,000 meters away, the destroyer's 5-inch main guns roared, firing 20 high-explosive rounds per minute, shredding each wooden ship and dozens of lives into splinters. and blood. This was not war. It was a merciless physical cleansing. The remaining Normans collapsed psychologically, refusing to stand and die. 700 ships, 7,000 abandoned soldiers, scattered blindly across the dark waters, and that chaotic spread triggered the destroyer's most unsolvable tactical dilemma. Why did the pinnacle of 11th century Viking shipbuilding become prey? Because in the pitch-black channel, while Norman sailors struggled to navigate by faint lanterns miles away, a cold, rotating radar array had already assigned precise death coordinates to every deck plank. They didn't even see the enemy. They were condemned before a glowing screen. As the fleet dissolved into panicked fragments, even the destroyer's guns could only destroy one target at a time. The remaining scattered longships became like desperate insects in an absurd cat-and-mouse game. The destroyer's optimal tactic was to block the fleet from reaching the English coast, creating an impenetrable wall of death. Any ship approaching was instantly obliterated. Those turning away disappeared into the darkness. Debris and burning wreckage floated across the sea. Survivors clung to decks, listening to the shrieking sky, watching comrades explode like crushed fruit. They were no longer elite conquerors. They were frantic insects, fleeing in the storm. Some ships used the chaos to escape under cover of fog. Survivors brought back not relief, but a butterfly effect capable of erasing established history. Emperor William and his armored knights sank forever into the dark channel, while Harold remained on his throne, preserving Anglo-Saxon England. This means that the English language you know today, common law, and the foundation of the later British Empire, all hung by a thread that night, threatened to vanish under a ship from 1,000 years ahead. Months later, in a cold, damp French monastery, surviving sailors wrote desperate diaries by candlelight. They described the sailless, wind-defying steel island, the nameless fire that tore through the night, and the impotence of gods before this infernal vessel. 1,000 years later, when historians sit in bright offices, sipping iced Americanos, they will laugh and write in scholarly journals that this was merely medieval sailors' collective hysteria during a rare meteor shower and storm. No modern scholar would believe that this absurd myth reflects the true shadow of modern civilization projected onto the past. Civilization's fragility lies here. Time erases all scars, and arrogant posterity will treat bloody truths as jokes. Now, as you read this, answer honestly. If tomorrow night a starship from the year 3000 hovered above your city and obliterated our proud modern civilization with the same dimensional reduction strike, would survivors 1,000 years from now see our despair as a trivial sci-fi story or a form of insane mythology? Comment your choice, and let's see how ignorant humanity can be when facing the unknown.